I'm Andre Huey and welcome to this edition of the Skn Newsline Newscast. An increased level of efficiency and service is expected to be derived from a new land administration information system launched at the recently opened annex of the Lee L. Moore Judicial Complex on East Independence Square. More in this report from Skn Newsline's Glenn Bart.
As the Registry of Lands moves into its new head office in Bastille, the Registrar of Lands is about to introduce the digital online format for processing of documents. The digitalization of the land registry processes have been a joint project between the government of St. Kitts and Nevis and the government and people of the Republic of China on Taiwan.
It cannot be overemphasized that Taiwan and the Federation shares common democratic values and ideas, and because of that, Taiwan is willing to share with our most staunch ally the experience in ICT, public administration, and the related technology necessary for the national development. Starting from 2019, the Land Administration Information System project has been implemented and managed by Mr. Edward Chen, the Taiwan ICDF project manager. Mr. Chen over there. In coordination with the Ministry of Justice and remoted with a Taiwanese company, HiWeb, in system program, education training, and technical support. This long process is by no means easy, especially when we are faced with the challenges of global COVID-19 pandemic. But here we are launching it today, and all the efforts for more than 2 years finally pay off. The system provides a platform for archives and records management and a database of digitalized certificates of lands, allowing the officers, the people, the land registration department, and the lawyers to work more efficiently and track the progress more easily. It helps shorten the processing time for registration cases to less than 3 months. And therefore, the people, the government, and the economy will all benefit from this project.
According to the Registrar of Lands, Dawn Myers, the new system will have a positive impact on the ease of doing business in the Federation and will provide direct online services for the processing of land matters.
It is amazing that there are so many land transactions and economic activity in this relatively small country. Another success story is the completion of the search function, as was mentioned before. Only the title registry can be searched at this stage, though. The deeds registry will be available for searching early in the new year. This function allows the attorneys at law and their clerks to search the records of the Land Registry Department in St. Kitts from the comfort of their offices. The St. Kitts Nevis Bar Council members and 2 senior members of the bar were invited to test its search function and provide their comments. Their suggestions for the tweaking of the system were taken into account and the relevant modifications made. It is envisaged that the training will shortly be undertaken with the attorneys to allow them to efficiently maneuver this system. Of course, this project and this search, as you would have heard before, arises out of a signing of an implementing agreement for the St. Kitts and Nevis Land Administration Information System back in June 2018 between the governments of St. Kitts and Nevis and the government of the Republic of China, Taiwan. Another function of the LAIS, which will be completed in a couple of months, is the ability for attorneys and their clerks to remain in their offices and present their documents online for registration. Communication with the attorneys will then be online with regard to any inconsistencies or errors in the documents. They will be able to track the progress of their documents online.
The Registry of Lands will share the new facilities that will also house the Intellectual Property Department and later the Law Commission, Legal Aid, and the Electoral Office. Glenn Bart reporting for Skn Newsline.
The over $900 million 2022 fiscal budget presented by Finance Minister, Prime Minister Dr. Timothy Harris a week ago was passed in the National Assembly on Monday night. More in this report.
The question is that the total capital expenditure and net lending for 2022 shall be in the amount of $952,200,453. Those in favor? Those against, the ayes have it.
The 2022 fiscal budget of over $900 million was passed on Monday night in the Parliament after an almost one-week marathon sessions of debate with the 13 parliamentarians and senators in the National Assembly. Mover of the bill, Finance Minister, Prime Minister Dr. Timothy Harris, slammed the opposition on their contribution to the debate and said the budget is in the best interest for the development of the average person in the country.
Just like the double caught them by surprise, because they wanted to set the agenda. Team Unity said that it will give people this livable wage. When will this livable wage come? And when it did come, no praise, no commendation, criticism. But the success of it is in the thousands of people in Nevis and St. Kitts who are benefiting. The thousands of persons who have used that extra $500 to pay their utility bill. Mr. Speaker, this budget continues to be about how we create a better quality of life for our people. The answers to almost every sector. The business sector get their relief in taxes, providing them with additional resources to invest back into our economy.
He also spoke of the economic progress the country has made as per the International Monetary Fund IMF assessment.
We have heard from the IMF in its report that we entered the COVID-19 pandemic from a position of fiscal strength, Mr. Speaker. That is something of which we can be proud of, because we are a real country with real people, proud, strong, resilient, and we are excelling. Yes, Mr. Speaker, we are doing what we can, and the eyes of the world are on us.
The opposition over the debate has said the budget is lacking in several areas. Opposition parliamentarian Dr. Jeffrey Hanley warned the government not to become overly dependent on CBI funds to bankroll the budget.
Without $400 million in passport souls like black pudding on Saturday that they once used to say, Madam Speaker, this budget would be in a major deficit, and very little is being done to strengthen local productive sectors to sustainably fill that gap, Madam Speaker. Yet, the government comes in this honorable house year after year and again this year to admit that it has been woefully ineffective in keeping the national economy going and growing. And so, like every other year, the budget depends heavily on external non-tax measures, and that are beyond our control, Madam Speaker.
One of the high points of the budget was the paying of a double salary to civil servants and ancillary workers, which took effect on Tuesday. Andre Huey, Skn Newsline. When we come back, there seems to be new progress on the waste energy initiatives. The details when we return. Get in on the biggest sale this Christmas at Smart Electronics and Island Electronics. Visit any of the 2 stores for the entire month of December and January. Get huge discounts store-wide. Only at Smart Electronics and Island Electronics for the finest in electronics, gadgets and appliances in the best brands. COVID protocols will be observed. Visit Smart Electronics at Portante or Island Electronics on 4th Street. 2 stores, one great experience. If you need effective advertising at affordable prices, you need to advertise with Skn Newsline. We offer a wide range of services: TV advertising, video ad production, social media marketing and management, WhatsApp marketing, digital marketing, and much more. We offer a comprehensive marketing package to suit your budget. Call our advertising department at 665-7456, 661-2008, or 663-8887. Get your message out on our newscast on the cable channel 95 and or online networks. Weekdays at 7 p.m. Skn Newsline. Marketing made easy. Welcome back. After several years of reviewing waste-to-energy options, the Solid Waste Management Corporation seemed to have settled on the technology generally referred to as gasification. Glenn Bart reports.
It has been years since the Solid Waste Management Corporation began exploring options to introduce waste-to-energy systems at the Connery landfill. Now it seems there is agreement to construct a waste-to-energy plant at the landfill. The initiative to start the project in 2022 was announced by Minister Eugene Hamilton, the minister with responsibility for SWMC, when he spoke in the National Assembly on the occasion of the debate of the 2022 national budget. According to Minister Hamilton, the plant will perform gasification processes, converting solid waste to useful gases without having to burn the waste to create more pollutants.
Shortly, Mr. Speaker, Solid Waste will begin working on the introduction of a waste-to-energy gasification power plant. I think the Minister of Public Infrastructure did mention earlier in his presentation about waste-to-energy production. And I believe there's collaboration between all of the institutions. So maybe I shouldn't spend a lot of time on it. But just to tell you that the process will be to convert biomass, can convert biomass and other forms of energy sources into other forms of energy without having to burn the waste. Put another way, Mr. Speaker, gasification involves converting solid and liquid waste material into gas through a chemical process. This will be, Mr. Speaker, a significant advancement in the way waste is handled at the landfill, bringing usable byproducts out of the process. Such technology will enable Sinkers to create and integrate waste management policy aimed at eliminating significant portions of industrial waste, things like tires and other types of solid waste, through the use of the gasification energy process. As an offshoot of this program, there will be the reclamation of portions of existing landfill site, allocating such land for alternate energy initiatives.
The minister also announced new plans to deal with the disposal of medical and plastic waste products. Glenn Bart reporting for Skn Newsline.
Nevis welcomes the MV World Voyager that made its inaugural call last week. More in this report from Skn Newsline's Jacinthia Teixeira.
The MV World Voyager made its inaugural call to Nevis on Friday, December 17th. During a small ceremony at the Charlestown port, Minister in the Nevis Island Administration, Spencer Brand, who represented Tourism Minister Premier Mark Brantley, told the cruise ship's staff, Captain David, that they had chosen one of the premier destinations in the Caribbean. He described the island as one steeped in history. Mr. Brand expressed hope that the vessel's inaugural visit to the island would be the first of many, that the captain and crew would find the island a place they would be drawn to, and that the guests would have rave reviews at the end of their visit, which would result in placing Nevis on the MV World Voyager's itinerary. He described the visit as a pleasurable one for Nevis, mindful that the COVID-19 pandemic had dismantled the island's tourism industry over the past 2 years. In response, the vessel's staff captain Daniel thanked everyone for the warm welcome and expressed hope that the vessel would return to the island. He used the opportunity to speak about the visit. Meanwhile, Mr. Devon Liebert, Director of Sales and Marketing at the Nevis Tourism Authority, NTA, who chaired the event, described Nevis as a tranquil, peaceful, and calm destination, and added that he was certain that passengers would be satisfied with the destination and make recommendations for the MV World Voyager to return to Nevis. At the end of the ceremony, Minister Brand and Staff Captain Daniel, who was accompanied by crew member Anastasia, exchanged tokens of appreciation. I am Jacinthia Teixeira for Skn Newsline.
When we come back, legal troubles brewing in 2 CARICOM states in relation to mandatory vaccination. Regional news when we return.
Online radio has never been this great. It's Voice of the Caribbean Radio at voiceofthecaribbean.net. Tune into Voice of the Caribbean Radio for great Caribbean programs, news, entertainment, sports, and current affairs, Wake up each morning and be inspired with One Day at a Time with Kim Huey. Stay abreast with news across the Caribbean and internationally with the Caribbean News Hour, and be entertained with shows like Reggaeville, Caribbean Classics, and Jive Music Show. Visit our website, download our Android mobile app, or listen us on TuneIn Radio. There is so much more on Voice of the Caribbean Radio, reaching the Caribbean and beyond. Check website or app for program schedule.
Are you ready to create high-performing TV commercials?
Ready.
Ready. Ready.
Create and tell compelling stories. Reach your target audience. And build brand awareness. Our strategies and execution will provide for your desired outcome and clearly represent your brand. Visit us at www.madebyopen.com and get started on your creative video commercial today. Lights, camera, Open Interactive.
Auto Plus Car Wash, located on the College Street Gut, Bastille, St. Kitts. Bring your car to Auto Plus Car Wash to remove water stains, wiper marks. Get your doors, roof panel cleaned, seat floor mats, buffing, headlights, and engine wash. You get quality service at the best price at Auto Plus Car Wash. They really care for your car. Call 765-5140 or visit them on the College Street Gut, Bastille, St. Kitts. Auto Plus Car Wash, where the service is number one. Welcome back. Now to news from across the Caribbean. Legal trouble is brewing for the governments of Trinidad and Tobago and St. Vincent and the Grenadines by their civil servants, who claim they are being unlawfully dismissed for not taking the COVID-19 jab. In the case of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, several teachers were fired for not taking the jab, and the union there is seeking judicial review on the decision by the government. In Trinidad and Tobago, Prime Minister Keith Rowley made it very clear that government's policy on vaccination before any action is taken to dismiss civil servants. We have the details in these two reports from WPG 10 in Grenada.
An all-out legal battle looms in St. Vincent and the Grenadines following the firing of some public servants there who have refused to get vaccinated. Public sector trade unions are reporting that some of their members have been sent home after they failed to meet the government's controversial vaccine mandate. Teachers and police officers are among those who have already been fired, according to the unions. On Monday, lawyer Jomo Thomas, representing two of the unions, said they are beginning to take action.
Today, as I said, is a very important day because today we filed a notice of application for leave to apply for judicial review of the actions which were taken by certain state authorities. This is a claim that is being brought by the St. Vincent Teachers Union, the Public Service Union, and the Police Welfare Association.
Another lawyer, Israel Bruce, spoke Monday also on the issue of judicial review.
The concept of judicial review is one which we invite the court to agree with us that the procedures used by any state body to arrive at a particular conclusion and or decision, that procedure as used was improper route to arrive at the conclusion and or decision.
In a related development, teachers in St. Vincent and the Grenadines are gearing up to protest this Christmas week after unvaccinated teachers who were not granted exemptions were fired for not taking the COVID-19 vaccine. The SVG Teachers Trade Union is calling on all teachers, vaccinated and unvaccinated, to walk with their placards for a picket on December 22nd and 23rd, planned for outside the financial complex to say no to mandatory vaccination.
Teachers were included under certain categories of frontline workers required to get vaccinated to remain in their jobs during the pandemic. Those who did not take it by the required deadline were deemed to have resigned from their jobs and last week were given termination letters with no December salary. Those teachers who worked for many years and were dismissed for not taking the vaccine also did not receive any payment for their years of service. Members of the Joint Protective Services Association in Trinidad and Tobago have hit back against what they say are plans by the government to mandate workers to be vaccinated against COVID-19. In an emergency meeting on Sunday, the heads of the Protective Services Associations, comprising the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service Social and Welfare Association, the Prison Officers Association of Trinidad and Tobago 2nd Division, and the Fire Service Association of Trinidad and Tobago 2nd Division, sought to address the announcement made by Prime Minister Keith Rowley for the mandatory vaccination of all government workers starting in January. Rowley said that while there will be exemptions for those with medical issues, unvaccinated employees will be expected to abide by certain rules and regulations.
But outside of that, the government's workplace will require, if you are a government employee, that you show your vaccination status, failing which you would not be encouraged in the workplace. And if you are not in a position to come to the workplace, you would be on leave on your own and you would be furloughed. Meaning that you will still have a job on the establishment, but you choosing not to be able to come to work under the conditions laid down, that you will then not be paid.
But according to the members of the association, varying terms and conditions of employment without consultation is illegal and goes against all established industrial relations practices. The association added that everyone has the constitutional right to the enjoyment of the property and for workers, that is, their salaries. The statement also said that the government must make an official pronouncement on workers' concerns over claims of liabilities for adverse reactions associated with the vaccination.
At least 375 people in the Philippines have died from Typhoon Rai hitting 195 kilometers at its peak. It left 900 people injured and more than 55 people missing. More from Al Jazeera.
This is San Jose in Dinagat Island, a town which bore the brunt of Super Typhoon Rai's fury on Thursday. What was once a thriving coastal community, now desolate. Mamerta and Hirondio Turing have been living here for more than 50 years, a home they built to raise a family. This is all what's left of it now.
The typhoon was very strong. We went downstairs to hide, but our walls collapsed. So we went to the neighbor. We were very scared.
Everywhere you look, there is destruction. It's been days since Typhoon Rai devastated the southern Philippines, but this community remains cut off from the rest of the world. Those who survived here tell us life will never be the same again for them.
Many here feel frustrated and abandoned. Hardly anything is spared here in Dinagat, not even its provincial capital. Like a landscape scraped by a steel brush or the immediate aftermath of a bomb explosion, this is how this devastation looks like up close. Mary Jane Basilio says she's grateful she survived the typhoon with her family and 1-month-old baby. Now hunger has become pervasive here. There is nothing left to harvest, they have no money.
The kids are so small, I still need to be with my baby. I prayed to the Lord to please make the typhoon stop. The wind was already so strong and it started at 12 noon.
While 88-year-old Anastasia tells us she wants to be reunited with her daughter who lives from another town. Anastasia was rescued after her home collapsed beneath her. There are many others in San Jose too shocked to share their ordeal. While others say they plod on, simply because they have no choice. Everything was wiped out in an instant, they say. Now there is only suffering. Jamela Alindogan, Al Jazeera, Dinagat Province, Southern Philippines.
In sports, Chinese tennis star Peng Shuai has denied accusing anyone of sexually assaulting her, despite an earlier social media post that said a former Communist Party official had forced her into having sex. More in this report from Al Jazeera.
Peng Shuai's interview with the Singaporean Chinese news outlet on the sidelines of a skiing event in Shanghai seems impromptu. But it is here that China's best-known tennis star spoke publicly for the first time about her allegation of sexual assault against a former top Communist Party official.
首先我要强调一点是非常重要的，我从未说过、写过任何人性侵我，这一点是要非常强调清楚的。然后关于微博，首先呢是我个人隐私的问题，那已经有可能这个大家有很多的误解，所以呢不存在任何就是说这种扭曲的这种解读。
Last month, Peng Shuai's social media post shocked many in China and the tennis community. She said she was assaulted by former Vice Premier Zhang Gaoli and was forced into a relationship. Within 30 minutes, the post was removed. Peng wasn't seen in public for 3 weeks and called Screw for proof of her safety. Videos like these soon started emerging on social media. In Sunday's video, Peng says she's always been free.
出入自由嘛，大家都很关心你的这个安全。出入自由嘛，就是会有人来监视啊，或者是怎么样嘛？
为什么会有人监视呢？一直都很自由。
The Women's Tennis Association has suspended tournaments in China because of concerns over Beijing's censorship of Peng and her well-being. In reaction to Sunday's interview, the WTA says the video is not enough to address their concerns about her safety. The controversy comes just 2 months before China welcomes visitors for the Beijing Winter Olympics. When asked if Peng plans to travel abroad, she had this to say.
你不能是说因为我要去额外证明个什么，然后我现在我出去是干什么？你告诉我。
Despite Peng's reappearance and apparent reassurances, they are unlikely to silence the widespread calls for an end to Beijing's censorship both at home and abroad. Priyanka Gupta, Al Jazeera.
Welcome to the Skn Newsline Weather Report. I am Janil Boole. Here is a look at the 4-day forecast for St. Kitts and Nevis. For a more detailed weather report, visit our website at www.sknnewsline.com.
You have been watching the Skn Newsline Newscast. For more news and sports, log on to our website at www.sknnewsline.com. Visit our Facebook page, make sure to follow and like the page if you haven't done so, or you can subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can also download our Android mobile app. Search Skn Newsline in the Google Play Store. From all of us here at Skn Newsline and Channel 95, I'm Andre Huey. Thank you for watching.